Ladies and gentlemen, from now on, Whipple will operate from a brain center with machines such as this one.
Presented by ZAIA.
Greetings, I am the Kaiju no Kami, founder and CEO of Creativity by Design LLC. Here at Creativity by Design, we strive to give you quality products such as Kaiju no Kami the notebook, Kaiju no Kami the pen, the poster, the t-shirt, we have a water bottle, all that good stuff on top of great and entertaining reviews for everyone to enjoy. And now, today, I am going to present you with another great review, Shout Factory's recent Blu-ray of Kamen Rider Blade Runner. Zero-One. While I may not have cared for Kamen Rider Ex-Aid, there is no denying that it was a success in Japan. So much so that Toei rehired head writer Yuya Takahashi to launch the newly established Reiwa era of Kamen Rider. If you don't know, in May of 2019, a new emperor took over Japan and Reiwa was the name he chose for his period. This new series, titled Zero-One, would be set in a cyberpunk-esque world where human-like machines known as Humagears have become a part of everyday life in assisting mankind in whatever fits their needs. The show was a hit. However, thanks to the annoyingly awful pandemic deemed COVID-19, Zero-One suffered a variety of production issues that included a reduced episode count, certain plot lines having to be dropped or merged together, and what was supposed to be the summer movie ended up becoming the show's finale in December of 2020. Do Humagears dream of electric sheep? Let's take a look at Zero-One to find out.
The Heroes.
Presented by ZAIA.
Our main rider is a zero-talent comedian named Aruto Hiden, who is one to punish his audience. And that's the work of Kaiju no Kami! Okay, seriously, Aruto's grandfather was the founder of Hiden Technologies. Years prior to the show's events, Kiranosuke Hiden unveiled his Human Gear project to the world and set forth a revolution in human development. Unbeknownst to him, a group of Humagears decided to attack humanity, forming a terrorist group deemed MetsubouJinrai.net and destroyed a city known as Daybreak Town. This led to Kiranosuke having to come up with alternative plans for the future in order to protect both his company and the Humagears. Our show kicks off with him having recently passed, leaving his company in the hands of his grandchild, the aspiring comedian Aruto.
そして2代目社長に孫であるヒデン・アルトを任命する？俺？
Aruto, being designated as Hiden's new CEO, grants him access to a satellite in space that allows him to transform into the armored superhero Kamen Rider Zero-One.
なんだここ？ここは我が社の通信衛星ZAIAの思考回路。アルト様の脳は今衛星に無線接続しています。つまり今俺は？
It's our loading program. We can load anything from clothing.
A jump to the sky turns to a rider kick.
To equipment.
Motor Rise. Rise Hopper.
Weapons. Training simulations.
これが結論だ。
Anything we need.
Aruto's lifelong dream is for humans and Humagears to live in harmony while making them all laugh, thanks to being raised by one.
出すんだよ。ヒューマギア。はい。アルトじゃない。
Yuya Takahashi does a fantastic job of giving the audience an outstandingly lovable hero who you want to see succeed in his endeavors. Aruto is very outgoing and always tries to see the best in every situation no matter what tragedy may occur. He also cares more about letting the general public know about the truth, as he demonstrated after learning about the events behind Daybreak Town and revealed it to the world.
昨日、ヒデンインテリジェンスが会見し、12年前に発生したデイブレイクについて新たな事実を発表しました。
Additionally, he shows off his rider identity to a military force early on, rather than keeping it hidden from them as he was initially instructed to do so in order to gain their trust.
秘伝の社長として誓う。隠し事なんて俺はしない。
The base form of Zero-One is quite exquisite with a neon yellow shade that pops against the black suited covers and the red buggy eyes. As we witness in Ex-Aid build in Geo, rider designs can get extremely busy for even the main form, so I am glad they went for something simplistic for it makes it more memorable, and I'm betting the suit actor was pleased to have something that was easy to maneuver in. Aruto transforms using an electronic key card that folds open and plugs into his belt.
A jump to the sky turns to a rider kick.
Again, it's straightforward and keeps the transformations from getting overly complicated. One of the best features about the Progrise keys is the text-to-speech that occurs amid transforming.
A jump to the sky turns to a rider kick.
A lot of them are fun to listen to.
Fly to the sky! Flying Falcon!
Spread your wings and prepare for a force.
When I shine, darkness fades.
One of the biggest negatives towards Zero-One's rider forms is how many of the forms will be used a few times and then are never heard from again. It's quite disappointing when you've got a few striking ones like his tiger and falcon forms, while others, such as his polar bear one, are easy to forget they exist. No, seriously, I totally forgot he even had a polar bear form until I saw it on this Blu-ray. I don't even own the Progrise key for it. That's how forgettable it is.
Progrise!
And as with every Kamen Rider, he obtains a multitude of upgrade forms that become obsolete as the show progresses. There's a giant mech suit, his shining hopper form, a locust form that is cool in concept, only to be the blandest looking rider suit in the entire show, for its overbearing gunmetal gray is dull to look at. And my favorite of the upgrades, the Zero-Two suit. Lastly, this might be a shock to you, but Aruto has a motorcycle that he rides every now and then. The two other main riders to be had are part of a government police force called the Artificial Intelligence Military Service, or AIMS for short. Toku shows love their acronymed organizations, don't they? These two are the science advisor Yuya and soldier Isamu Fuwa. Both Hiro Egeta and Ryutaro Akada portray this duo.
暴走するヒューマギアのデータを収集する。そういう。
残らずぶっ潰す。
Yaiba may be the best female rider up to this point, for she is a strong-willed character and is able to hold her own in battle. I would say she doesn't take crap from anyone, but that isn't the case when it comes to her boss during the show's second arc, where she ends up acting like nothing more than a drone for its pilot. But hey, what she does in this scene with her boss was funny.
天津様は自信過剰で傲慢なナルシストで何でもはっきりと申されます。かなり人を選ぶ性格でマッチングは絶望的でした。
While we do see moments of her being dissatisfied with orders, it isn't until the end of the arc that she does anything about it. Nevertheless, I do still like Yaiba in the long run, and she acquires what is hands down the most badass form of the entire show. Fighting Jacko is so freaking awesome that Toei had no idea what to do with it, to the point where it just disappeared after the form got overpowered. What the hell, Toei? You could have done far more with it. I'm getting ahead of myself though. Yaiba and Fuwa's rider system is controlled through a gun that gives them their rider forms. Yaiba's main two forms are that of a cheetah, which also has one of the coolest belt catchphrases.
Rider, shot rise.
And a hornet. As for Fuwa, he has a series of wolf forms through the show's entirety.
Shot rise.
Increases as the bullet is fired. No chance of survival.
I do like how his major upgrade costume is formed in a sequential pattern as opposed to just engulfing his body in one go. Fuwa also obtains a gorilla form. Fuwa hates Humagears to death, for he lived in Daybreak Town during Metsubo Jinrai's attack, as he considers all Humagears to be evil. This thought process is soon changed after his life was saved by a Humagears surgeon.
私はドクターお見事。患者の命を救うのが仕事です。
It also helps that he grew to respect Aruto immensely for both his truthful nature and his ability to make puns.
社長なのに新入社員はいアルトじゃないとオンに散るよアルトじゃないと
There's even a point in time where Fuwa ends up working as a bodyguard to Aruto. Fuwa is a solid secondary rider whose characterization is as intriguing as some of his predecessors from the franchise. What's equally entertaining is when the show throws a nice plot twist into Fuwa's backstory that will have you laughing your ass off.
驚いたな。
Beyond the riders, there are a couple of other characters who are at Aruto's disposal, with the bigger one being his personal assistant Ise. Ise is a Humagear who is built with the sole purpose of teaching Aruto how to use the Zero-One driver, on top of connecting with the satellite known as ZAIA for information that may help him grow along the way. She ends up being connected to Aruto to the point of being another family member of his, even partaking in his jokes.
衛星ゼアに行けばな行けばな行けばな
イーズもしかして生け花と生け花をかけた
アルトじゃないと
She also teaches Humagears some very bad words.
お望み通り言って差し上げましょう。
まさか
この
ダメです。
大体男に依存してるからバカみたいな巻き込まれるんですよ。
こんな最低最悪の言葉どこで
申し訳ございません。
Noah Tsurashima's performance as Ise is so well done to the point where you truly care about her well-being and will get upset anytime she is in danger.
新型プログライスキーができました。回収してきます。
We get to meet her brother for a pair of episodes, Was, who is the Humagear equivalent to Sherlock Holmes.
私はねイズ君君の兄なのです
Three other frequent characters include Hiden's vice president, Jun Fukuzoe, Sanzo Yamashita, the senior managing director, and their assistant Humagears Shesta.
アルトじゃナイト
そんな代表的なギャグはパスワードにしないかと。
早く言えよ
At the start of the show, Fukuzoe strives to be Hiden's CEO and tries to do whatever he can to oust Aruto for his position.
大和田信也さんの交番に松田エンジも破壊されて我が社のダメージは大きい社長この責任は取っていただきます
Only to find himself proud of the man, giving him his full support. Yamashita is just there to be the yes man.
ブラック業務の強要メールパワハラ発言の録音データ非人道的言動の証拠画像いろいろと出てくるはずだ
山下先輩顔がすごいことになっています
Well, Shesta's purpose is to... well... Shesta is there.
このままではヒューマギアが暴走し、さらに犠牲者が増える危険性があります。
All in all, these three are meant to be the comic relief of the show, and they work more often than not. Although, it does seem weird having a bunch of 50-year-old adults in this role.
死体役は動かないでお願いしますよエキストラなんですから
The Villains.
Presented by ZAIA.
Zero-One is set up in a way that allows it to have two different villain groups depending on the arc the show is in. As mentioned earlier, the main group is MetsubouJinrai.net, which is made up of 4 Humagears being led by a sunken AI known as the Arc. The general of MetsubouJinrai.net is the sword-wielding Hirobi. Hirobi's entire plot revolves around whatever the Arc tells him to do, though he does gain his own individuality as time goes on, for he acts like a father figure to another member of the team named Jin.
滅びは僕にとっての親？そうだ。我々は親子だ。子供は親の言うことを聞いていればいい。
Hirobi is essentially the antithesis of Aruto, for he believes all humans must be exterminated in order for Humagears to live in peace.
Death to humans!
One interesting thing to note is that actor Suya Sunagawa was ready to leave the acting world had he not obtained a role in Zero-One, an audition for being a villain based on a recommendation his brother made due to the way he could display a devilish stare.
今日こそが革命の日。歴史に刻まれるのは我々滅亡人雷ネットの勝利だ。
Hirobi has his own Kamen Rider form that is based on a scorpion. Jin, played by Daisuke Nakagawa, steals Aruto's Falcon Key to don a Kamen Rider form for the first quarter of the show.
Force Rise.
Later, he obtains the guise of a phoenix. I really like Jin.
人類って今何人ぐらいいんの？77億人。え？医療の発達によって今も増え続けている。へえ。人類滅亡も楽じゃないな。
We get to see him grow from a petulant child that laughs at anything he finds amusing to a more restrained adult with fashion sense Yuki Muto would be proud of.
なんで復活してやるジンあいつ人間か
いえヒューマギアです
No matter the iteration, Jin can be a very violent individual who has no qualms about killing. He's also the one who initially hacks Humagears into becoming the monsters of the week through their own programized keys regarded as the Majaya. Regretfully, as cool as the Majaya are, they end up becoming nothing more than grunts by the halfway point, despite Metsubou Jinrai also having their own sets of grunts that Humagears can turn into. The remaining two members of MetsuboJinrai.net include the astronaut Uchiha Raiden
ありえねえな。アークの一種で俺は覚醒したんだ。
and systems engineer Naki.
ふわの布団がふわっと吹っ飛んだ。はい、アルトじゃないと。
Sadly, they don't have as big of a role in the series as I would have liked, but they do bring in some interesting aspects to the villain cast, both gain a Kamen Rider form with Raiden taking that of a dodo. Naki is a Japanese wolf. Not exactly sure what the difference is between a wolf and a Japanese wolf, but whatever. Personally, I think Naki should have acquired the Fighting Jackal form after Yaiba had discarded it. Daichi Yamaguchi and Satsuki Nakayama portray this duo. The Arc has his own Kamen Rider form, which is pretty damn cool. Not to mention he does have his own personal assistant who resembles Ease by the name of Oz, who seems to be a horror movie waiting to happen. Wait, is, was, and as. I see what you did there, Toei! The Arc is voiced by Sho Hayami. Hayami is notable for voicing Vanilla Ice in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Tosaka in Fate Zero, Nakiri in Food Wars, Maximilian in Macross, Ultra Magnus in the Japanese dub of Transformers G1, Zarbon in Dragon Ball, Wolfwood in Trigun, and Farid in Iron-Blooded Orphans.
お前が望む結論は予測できている。陣を取り戻したいという心が透けて見えるぞ。
I also need to state that I love the screams that encompass the Arc driver.
Ah, would that I could have that sound to lull me to sleep each night.
The last villain is the president of the Japanese division to ZAIA Enterprises, a rival company to Hiden. His name is Gai Amatsu, and he transforms into Kamen Rider Thouser.
When the five horns cross, the golden soldier Thouser is born. Presented by ZAIA.
Gaia wants to rid the world of Humagears and replace them with his own totally not Google glasses, the ZAIA Specs, and will resort to any means necessary to get his way.
ZAIA スペックをかけると世界が変わる。人工知能と同等の思考能力を人間に与える次世代インターフェース。
Initially, I really liked Guy as he brought something new to the table compared to Metsubo Jinrai, only for the show to drop the ball halfway through. He is nowhere near as annoying as Kuroto was in Ex-Aid, and yet I grew to hate him immensely.
見た目全く変わってないじゃないですか。天地社長、年いくつですか？永遠の24歳だ。アイドルかよ。
天津外社長45歳
He's not even a villain you love to hate. He's just an asshole. Apparently, Naichi Sakuragi based his performance of Guy off of Kaiza from Fies, which does explain a lot.
It's about time that I get my way. Watch, this is so fun to see. Oh, despicable me.
What's worse is he had a scene that made me think of David Tennant's final scene in Doctor Who, which was not a good thing.
I don't want to go.
Adding to his dickish nature is that he reconfigured the Metsubo Jinrai belts into one that can be wielded by a normal everyday human. It's quite despicable.
Wabe! The effects and music.
Presented by ZAIA.
While the CGI may fail at times, there is a lot to love about the effects work, all of which is enhanced by a killer soundtrack. Camera work is stellar, with some incredible shots that occur during battle scenes. Some of my favorite moments come from Arc's rider form thanks to its black background and lighting during conflicts. The manga fight was just as efficient. Transformation sequences are impressive to the eye. The only complaints I really did have in the effects department was in regard to the CGI, even though I never found it taking me out of the narrative, which does go to show how immersive this show can be. I must not forget to mention the remarkable makeup work done on the actors who play Humagears when they are wounded. Sometimes the damage makeup done on actors for mechanical characters in media can look out of place, even in big budget films like The Terminator. Thus, the makeup department for Zero-One definitely deserves all of the praises they can get here. Go Sakabe wrote the music, and it's an electronic presentation fitting for any cyberpunk tale.
同様のものを見た気がします。秘伝のデータベースを検索。
I could totally see Sakabe doing the score to a Blade Runner, Ghost in the Shell, or Psycho-Pass feature if given the opportunity. Every piece of music keeps you engaged in the show's actions, enhancing even the lackluster moments with its tuneful elegance.
Ark! 兄ちゃん大丈夫？ジン、新しいプログライズキーだ。
こうして01を超えた今、私の方が正しかったことが証明されたからね。
これは俺と滅びの問題なんだ。
Lunacy's bassist, Jay, and Takanori Nishikawa performed the opening song Realize, which is just as good as the BGM itself. It's easily one of my favorite Rider themes out there.
The episodes. Presented by ZAIA.
As a whole, Zero-One is a superb Toku show. However, that doesn't mean it's free from moments of mediocrity. Some of this can be attributed to COVID-19, others, not really. I really don't think the low point of the series, which is its second arc featuring a competition between Hiden and ZAIA, was completely affected by the pandemic. I'm hoping I'm wrong. Nevertheless, the competition arc is a bore fest. It's very repetitious and seems to drag on for far longer than necessary. The purpose of this arc is ZAIA and Hiden will compete up to 5 matches, and the winner gets control of the other's company, I think? Or maybe it's just that if ZAIA wins, ZAIA gains control of Hiden, but if Hiden wins, they don't get bought out by ZAIA? It's not that ZAIA becomes a part of Hiden? I don't know. I'm confused. Either way, it's an idea that sounded great on paper, only for its execution to leave a lot to be desired. Thus, the worst episodes in the series are the 2-parter revolving around the third contest between Hiden and ZAIA, which all depends on whether or not a Humagears lawyer can prove an accused con artist innocent. That's right, someone's livelihood becomes part of a game. I object to that trial, and he still didn't do it, are just bad. Granted, there are good moments in them when it comes to the fights thanks to the camera work and, naturally, Sakabe's music. There is also this really cool moment with the opposing lawyer when new evidence is revealed.
弁護人及びその関係者に退廷を命じます。いえ、裁判長、審理をやり直すべきでしょう。危うく冤罪を生んでしまうところでした。
A lawyer who actually cares more about the truth than winning? This truly is a fantasy show geared towards children. You're probably asking me why I didn't choose the clip shows to be the worst aspects of the series as I do with others. And that is because I consider them to be the equivalent of collateral damage thanks to COVID. Therefore, I felt it would have been unfair to count them among the show's worst, particularly given that all but one is presented as a bonus feature rather than an actual episode. Moving past the negatives, when Zero-One is at its best, it is really at its best. We are constantly treated to social commentary as to whether or not Humagears have rights, should be allowed to exist.
いやだってさ、やっぱりロボットだろ。なんかこう迫るものっていうか人間が見えてこないんだよね。
What type of jobs it can entail? And even moral issues as to what a Humagear is allowed to look like.
人工知能特別法第6条。本人に無許可で酷似した様式の人工知能搭載人型ロボットを作成及び使用してはならない。
This even pays tribute to the racism that runs fluid throughout our own country here in America. There is a protest at the end of the series that is clearly meant to be a commentary on the Black Lives Matter protest that occurred during the summer of 2020. And it is equally as powerful here as it was in reality. With that in mind, my favorite episodes come from the show's final arc, which makes it hard to discuss due to endgame spoilers. My second favorite deals with the Groundhog's Day-like plot that sees characters dying in multiple ways. It features the debut of the Zero-Two suit.
Kamen Rider Zero-Two. それが俺の名だ!
As for my ultimate, that goes to the 42nd episode, and if you have already seen this series, you should know why. It's an emotional episode that also gives Kamen Rider Arc his phenomenal introduction, is full of exhilarating camera shots, and once again, that soundtrack.
The movies and specials. Presented by ZAIA.
As is the case in recent years, Zero-One has its own set of movies and specials, most of which take place after the finale. Thus, it is going to make this area hard to discuss the contents of the films and specials in detail aside from the early crossover film with Geo. With that said, the crossover movie kicks off with Aruto waking up in a timeline where the Ark was launched into space as opposed to ZAIA and has to work with Geo to fix history.
人類滅亡の
嘘だろ
It's not a bad crossover. It has some great camera work and fight footage to enhance the experience. Naturally, we get a new form for Aruto. His Humagear dad also takes on a rider form that is reminiscent of Ichigo's design. Meanwhile, the costumes for Hirobi and Jin are odd, to say the least.
見つけた。人類が滅亡せよ。
Real Time is the name of the theatrical film, which Shout Factory has thankfully included on this Blu-ray, given it is the series finale to the show. It features a crazed former surgeon who became a man made of nanomachines wanting to destroy the world by the name of Ez, who transforms into Kamen Rider Eden.
Imagine, ideal, illusion. Eden, the Kamen Rider.
The creator who charged us forward believing in paradise.
This movie is pretty damn awesome. One of the best Kamen Rider movies out there. It has an incredible battle between Zero-Two and Eden at the start in darkness.
この世界は苦しみに満ちている。我々は生まれながらにして神から。
Valkyrie becomes the truest Kamen Rider in Zero-One. What? You mean a Kamen Rider is actually riding a bike in a Kamen Rider feature? What is this? 2000? Speaking of bikes, Aruto's does show up in this film.
Rise Hopper!
That is a big truck for such a small bike. You've gotta wonder, was it packaged by Amazon? Aruto gets another form with a freaking demonic jingo.
Heaven or hell? It doesn't matter.
Oh, that was so awesome. Speaking of awesome,
The creator who charged us forward believing in paradise.
and there's a naked guy.
サイトの接続者は世界中で1億人はいる。1億？管理人の S は我々にとって教祖なんだよ。
Moving on. Sadly, despite Real Time being a fantastic finale for the show, Takahashi decided to come back 2 years later and do some additional movies in the same vein as Ex-Aid's Another Ending. And just like Another Ending, the Zero-One Others movies completely hijack everything that made the series so good. I just don't get why Takahashi likes to undo all of the character development he did in the show with his follow-up movies. It's like the man second guesses himself or something. Either way, these movies blow chunks.
Your opinion has been rejected.
Who let Toku Twitter in here? We've got some new writer forms because of course we do. One is of a dire wolf. Is this Game of Thrones? A form for Yaiba. Should have been upgraded to Fighting Jackal. And the owner of ZAIA, Leon Arkland, who wears a black Thouser suit.
When the 5 weapons cross, the jet black soldier, ZAIA is born. I am the president.
One of the biggest revelations is learning that ZAIA is in charge of YouTube's copyright system. That explains so much.
彼を復元したのはザイアだ。著作権は
The fun doesn't end there, however, as there's some hidden DLC. And that's the work of Kaiju no Kami.
今のはフリースタイルとすげえスマイルで韻を踏んだ小粋なジョークです。
They got it! You didn't need to explain the joke. The last feature of Zero-One currently is the 20 minutes of your time you'll never get back. Guy finds himself feeling sick and Kuroto Dan emerges from his body. Somehow. The two fight for a moment before Masumune appears and then Guy just watches them duke it out like he's some background bystander.
ヒデンのデータベースによれば、あちらはかつてゲームコーポレーションというゲーム会社の初代社長だったダン・マサムネ。あちらがその息子で2代目社長だったダン・クロト。
How the hell does this girl know who people from another universe are? Overall, it sucks.
Your opinion has been accepted.
The Blu-Ray. Presented by ZAIA.
Shout Factory has given us an exceptional Blu-ray release to launch Kamen Rider in America. It is well worth it. You've got your case, disc trays for the discs, an advertisement for what's currently available on Tokushoutsu, and then episode listings on the inside of the artwork. The video and audio are just exceptional all around. I never noticed a single compression issue, artifact, or the like at all, while the audio, despite being in standard stereo, is equally pleasing. Dialogue is clear while the music and sound effects can give the subwoofer a workout. Real time should have totally been in 5.1 though. It's a movie from 2020. There is no excuse for it not to have had a 5.1 soundtrack. The subtitles are accurately translated with everything from attack names to signage found in news reports being translated as well.
Progress key confirmed. Ready for muster.
There is a nice black shadow behind the vibrant white text. The only true negative I have in regard to the subtitles is they are hard subbed into the video, which means you cannot watch the show raw. While I don't really see this as a non-issue outside of not being able to use raw video for this very review, I could totally understand if this is a disappointment for others. My best guess is that Toei did not want a show that was still fresh in Japan to have removable subtitles due to reverse importation fears. If you've watched the show fansub in the past, you're most likely going to notice some terminology being different. That being that Ease is accurately spelled out as IS as opposed to IZU, and Aruto's catchphrase has been translated as "that was the work of Aruto" instead of "and that's how you know it is Aruto." It may seem a bit odd at first, but you'll get used to it. Subscribers are entitled to disappointment. And that was a work of Kaiju no Kami! This set also includes the 5 clip show episodes that was aired during the time Toei was unable to film Zero-One thanks to COVID on top of the 46 episodes in movie. While they may be uninspiring to my eyes, it is pretty awesome that Shout Factory was able to include them like a bonus feature, adding a bit of gravitas to the mix that their Sentai DVDs failed to deliver. One notable piece, the text on the eye catcher after the opening theme is present. While COVID did hinder elements of the show, Takahashi still managed to take everything he failed to do with Ex-Aid and give us a solid piece of entertainment. It may not be perfect, as there are a lot of useless writer forms to be had. Still, the characters and fights all warrant a robust 4 out of 5 grown-ups in spandex. This is an exceptional series and Blu-ray release that is worth viewing as much as it is buying. And thanks to Shout Factory, our Kamen Rider count in America has now gone from 0 to 1. And that's a work of Kaiju no Kami! Greetings, I am the Kaiju no Kami, CEO and founder of Creativity by Design LLC. Here at Creativity by Design, we strive for the very best products, such as... Our main writer is a zero-talent comedian by the name of Aruto Hiden, who is one to punish his audience. And that's a work of Kaiju no Kami!